Hello everyone and welcome to the FluentPro webinar. My name is Alana Ganchar and I'm a Services Director at FluentPro. Today we are going to talk about successful self-service migration using FluentBooks and things to be considered during such a migration. Among them are the following: migration strategy development, professional assistance for your migration, technical limits as they relate to your migration, data migration approach, data migration flow, and some of the common issues that customers experience and ways how to avoid them. If for some reason you get distracted or pulled away, there is no need to worry. This webinar is being recorded and the recording will become available sometime tomorrow. Our company, FluentPro Software Corporation, is a Microsoft Gold partner. We specialize in products for projects and portfolio management. We help companies implement and improve their management practices with Microsoft Project Server and Project Online. Our primary focus is developing software products for managing Microsoft Project Online, and that includes management, migration, business intelligence, and data visualization, integrations for Microsoft PPM platform. We have several lines of products available, and today we will talk about one of our main products called FluentPro FluentBooks. This is a solution for data migration and configuration management. If you take a look at FluentPro products, they can be split into two categories. The first category is for implementation and migration cycle. When you are new to the cloud or new to the Microsoft PPM platform, FluentPro has several products that could help you to start working this project online. It is FluentBooks, which is a migration tool, FluentPro PMO, that is a quick start configuration for Project Online, and FluentPro Financials, an app for Project Online that delivers financial categorization, analytics, estimates, and reporting. At some point when you are up and running, your environment goes to operational cycle, and here FluentPro can also offer several products. Among them is FluentPro J Suite, a product for backup and restore of Project Online data, including PWA configuration, project plans, and SharePoint sites, and also for configuration management and data copy between PWAs within one tenant. FluentPro Data Mart, a PM Pulse solution, is a product for data visualization and reporting. Audit Manager is an app for Project Online that allows tracking different events that happen in Project Online PWA, creation, modification, and deletion of entities. And FluentPro Integration Hub, a solution that allows connecting and synchronizing project data to and from multiple systems, such as Microsoft Project Online, Jira, Office 365 Planner, Azure DevOps, ServiceNow, Salesforce, and other systems. So FluentBooks is a unique migration and configuration management software solution for Microsoft Project Server and Project Online developed by FluentPro. FluentBooks is the only solution that provides a complete toolset for a secure, fast, and full migration of Microsoft Project Server and Project Online data. It allows to migrate not only SharePoint content, but also PWA configuration, including resources, custom fields and lookups, security, and all other parameters. Also project plans and project plan templates with amazing granularity, where you can choose exactly what you want to move to your new environment. It's a perfect choice for an easy and accurate migration to Microsoft Project Server and Project Online that automates your work, gives you full control over the migration process, high speed and safety of your data. So FluentBooks is a desktop application and it uses public APIs provided by Microsoft. It's BSI, SysOM, OData, SharePoint Foundation RPC Protocol, SharePoint 2013 Web Services. These APIs are used for data migration between Project Server on-premises and Project Online, as well as between different Project Online instances. like PWA in different tenants. Direct operations with the database are not performed during migration with FluentBooks, so it is not a database-to-database migration. Data is downloaded via API from source PWA and saved as a local copy to FluentBooks workspace files for PWA configuration and SharePoint content, and FPP packages for projects and project plan templates. And then this data is uploaded to a destination PWA, also via API. All data that was downloaded from the source system, as well as the files generated by FluentBooks during migration process, such as logs and cache files, comparison reports, all this data is stored locally on the machine where FluentBooks is installed. During download and upload process, all data is encrypted with the latest TLS protocol. So when you use FluentPro FluentBooks for data migration to Microsoft Project Server or Project Online, you get the following features and benefits. First of all, it's automation and speed. There is no need to spend hours on manual work when moving PWA data and making sure that everything is correct. By automating your migration, you save up to 60% of time and avoid human errors. Your data is secured during the migration process. Since FluentBooks is a desktop application that you install on your machine, either physical or virtual, when you use the software, all your downloaded data is saved locally and you transferred from the source to the target. This data is encrypted with the latest TLS protocol. Full data migration that includes not just SharePoint content but all your data, PWA configuration, resource pool, security, project plans, and project sites. Also, timesheet migration is available as a service. Configuration management helps to reduce or even eliminate the manual work in your PWA configuration management and administration. FluentBooks has PWA documenting, bulk edits, comparison, and other features. FluentBooks supports different migration scenarios, including migration from any edition of Microsoft Project Server 2010, 2013, 2016, and 2019 to Project Online, migration between different Project Online tenants, and even migration from a non-Microsoft PPM systems to Project Online as a separate module. There are several things to be considered when performing a self-service migration. First of all, it's development of the migration strategy, and this includes evaluating the scope of migration, prioritizing migration activities, identifying migration exceptions, and developing a mitigation plan. Getting familiar with the migration process and specifics of the migration tool. Also, getting professional assistance for your migration. FluentPro provides migration orientation training and premium support for all customers who purchased FluentBooks subscription for migration. Understanding the technical limits of Project Server or Project Online and the migration tool as they relate to your migration. This has to do with the concept of throttling within Project Online, and also some of the technical limitations with regards to what can actually be migrated and how fast this can happen. Data migration approach. For standard migration scenarios, we recommend a specific sequence of migration phases and activities that I will describe in more details a bit later. For more complex migration scenarios, this standard approach should be adjusted. Please consider consulting with the FluentPro migration team as you feel necessary. Data migration flow. We also highly recommend a specific data flow for each of the migration phases. This is a sequence of steps performed for data download, upload, and verification. Following the recommended flow helps to ensure that no data is missing during migration and all data dependencies are preserved. I will also mention some common issues and how to avoid them. These are several examples of issues that customers may experience when performing a self-service migration, along with advice on how to avoid these issues. Now let's talk in more details about each of these items. We suggest that the migration strategy development should include the following steps. The first one is to identify components of data migration, prioritize of what needs to be migrated and what can be left in the older PPM system. Migration is a good opportunity for a cleanup of all those obsolete custom fields, PDPs, reports, and so on, and also for archiving of the closed projects. The next one is to identify what is not supported by Project Online or Project Server or by the migration tool and develop a mitigation plan. Getting familiar with the migration tool and specifics of the migration process. Identifying and planning post-migration activities and post-live care for the users. Migration is a complex process and it needs people to have skills and expertise for both Project Server or Project Online and migration tool. As in all other spheres, lack of skills and expertise increases the chance of failure. FluentPro offers not just a migration tool, but also professional assistance for your migration. This assistance includes a free training held by our onboarding team on how to use FluentBooks for migration and for administration. And also, each FluentBooks for migration subscription includes a mandatory premium support package. Initial requests are processed by FluentPro support team, and when necessary, these requests are escalated to the migration team and even development team. So, if you experience any issues during your migration process, please do not hesitate to contact our support team using the address support@fluentpro.com. If you don't have time for training and gaining experience, consider delegating your migration to the FluentPro migration team. We will gladly perform your migration as a service and use all our experience to complete your project successfully and on time. So there are several areas that should be prepared for the migration. We also call them prerequisites when prepare for the migration as a service. So target tenant infrastructure or project online infrastructure or project server farm infrastructure should be prepared prior to the migration start. And this includes provisioning or creating test and production PWAs in the target tenant or farm, selecting security model for each of these PWAs, and setting up a DFS if needed. User accounts, like either Office 365 or accounts in the Active Directory, should be created on the target tenant level for all users that will need to be able to log into PWAs and to have their login accounts specified in the corresponding resources. Also, it's more for Project Online, but space for site collections. We recommend to set as double of the size of the site collections in the source Project Online in order to accommodate all the migrated data, and new data that will be added after users switch to the new environment. As for migration infrastructure, we recommend using dedicated machines for the migration, either virtual machines or physical ones. They should be dedicated and not the ones that you use for the everyday work, because some of the processes include interaction of FluentBooks and Project Professional, like during download and upload of projects. And during these operations, you will not be able to work with your machine because FluentBooks will be constantly switching your focus of your machine to the Project Professional. this process should not be interrupted, otherwise the download or upload that was performed will fail. So dedicated machines for migration and recommended configuration in terms of RAM and storage depends on the migration data volume. Recommended RAM is 8 gigabytes, 2 cores of processor, and at least 80 gigabytes of storage. But if you have a large volume of SharePoint content to migrate, this can go up to easily to 500 gigabytes and even more, depending on how much data you have to migrate. Also, each migration machine must have a lock screen, automatic log off, and automatic restart disabled. This is required since migrations can run over 24 hours and need to run without interruption. And then I will talk about these settings a bit later when provide the examples of some of the common issues. What can happen if these prerequisites are not completed. Also, the software that is required to be installed on the migration machine is the following. It's FluentPro FluentBooks, which is the migration tool. Also, Microsoft Project Professional, compatible with the source PWA version. For example, if you are migrating from Project Server 2010 to Project Online, we will need two versions of Microsoft Project Professional. It will be version 2010 and either 2016 or Project Online desktop version that comes with your Project Online tenant. So Project Professional is used to assist with publishing, downloading, and uploading of the project schedules. All versions of Project Professional need to be activated and all latest updates should be installed. Also, Microsoft Excel should be installed and activated on the machine. It is required to work with the account and resource mapping files and comparison reports. Optionally, you could also install 7-zip if you need to work with FTP packages and unpack them for any reason, and Notepad++ to work with log files. So, sometimes it is more convenient than regular Notepad. Also, user accounts that will be used for migration. These are so-called service accounts, but it can be your personal account as long as you have all necessary permissions. So in source and target PWAs, user accounts that are used for data download and upload should have PWA administrator and site collection administrator permissions and licenses to work with the PWA. In Project Online, it will be at least Project Plan 3 license, but we recommend using a Project Plan 5 license. And also, as part of preparation, you would want to create a migration project plan. Before the migration starts, create a draft plan first, listing all necessary migration activities. And before a test migration is completed, this plan will contain estimated durations and efforts. Once test migration is completed, the plan can be adjusted based on empirical knowledge about the environment, migration speed, and specific issues of the data. So when doing a self-service migration, it is important to understand the technical limits of Project Online or Project Server and the migration tool as they relate to your migration. This has to do with the concept of throttling, for example, within Project Online, how much data can be uploaded at once. In addition, there are some technical limits with regards to what can actually be migrated. These limitations come from limitations of APIs used by FluentBooks to download and upload the data. There also may be some customizations in your project server and other items that cannot be migrated to Project Online as is. For example, some of the integrations or custom code that needs to be adjusted in the new environment. Identify them during the test migration and see how to manage those exceptions. Following this link, you will find a detailed list of known limitations of data migration to and from Project Online using FluentBooks. Based on our experience of performing migrations as a service, we suggest the following sequence of migration phases and activities. I will also talk in more details about the sequence of specific steps within the test and production migration in the next set of slides. So the first phase is pre-migration activities. This is the phase when you prepare all the prerequisites for the migration. You prepare migration virtual machines, set them up, make sure that FluentBooks is able to connect to the source and target PWAs. Make sure that all the apps that are required for migration are installed and working properly. Also, you create and check migration accounts, make sure that they have all necessary permissions in the source and target PWAs. Lack of permissions, for example, if the user is not site collection administrator, may result in failure to download some portions of data. So we always recommend making sure that the account that is used for migration has PWA administrator and site collection administrator level of permissions. Also, during this phase, you would create a draft project plan with all the activities that will be performed during the migration project. The next phase, after all prerequisites are completed, is the test migration. And here you're going to go through all the steps of the migration project plan and identify all the issues that your data and source system might have, as well as find out the ability of your tenant to correctly process everything that you are going to put in the upload. Perform the test migration, and during this phase, carefully record the timings for every operation. Publish, download, upload, and verification of migrated data, as well as the types of the issues and time spent on their resolution or mitigation. Once the test migration phase is completed and you've got empirical knowledge about the environment, migration speed, and specific issues of the data, adjust the project plan for production and delta phases. So after you went through the test migration and figured out how to overcome the challenges that came up, you're ready to move on to the actual production migration. Test migration and production migration are done into different PWAs. So this is why in prerequisites I indicated that two PWAs should be created in the tenant, target tenant or farm. Test 1 and production 1. Test migration is done into a clean test PWA and production migration is done into a clean production PWA. Remigration of modifications is the next phase that follows after the production migration. If the volume of the data is pretty large and it is not possible to freeze the source environment for the whole duration of the production migration, then production migration is basically split into two phases. Main one, when you migrate the whole volume of the data, and a smaller one when you remigrate the modifications that were introduced in the source environment while the main production migration was in progress. Duration of the delta migration phase depends on the number of projects and project sites that were modified while initial production migration was in progress. We recommend notifying users about data migration being in progress and requesting them to make changes to as minimal of projects and project sites as reasonably possible, because all modified projects and project sites will need to be remigrated during delta migration phase. So after remigration of modifications and verifying this migrated data, go live happens and users switch to the new environment. After go live, there is a phase called post live support, and this is the phase when you do some post live activities. For example, admin and user trainings, reports adjustments, look and feel adjustments, and any other activities as you feel necessary for your specific project. And also during this phase, you would address issues that were missed during pro-live UAT. In the next set of slides, I'm going to walk you through a data migration flow in detail. So FluentBooks provides a variety of wizards to be used for migration. Part of these wizards will be used to perform download of data from the source PWA. Other wizards will be used to upload this data to the target PWA and to validate the migration results. We highly recommend publishing projects before downloading them from the source PWA. The reason behind that is that projects have two versions, draft and published. And during download, FluentBooks saves draft version of the MPP file and also reads additional project data from the API. This data is taken from the published project version. To prevent data integrity issues, draft and published version of the project must be equal at the moment of download. During upload of projects to the target PWA, FluentBook publishes them several times. So what you see for the project in the draft version in the source system, you will see in the published version in the target PWA. And if you do visual comparison of projects between source and target PWAs, for example, when you look at them in the project center, you may see so-called false positive results of comparison if projects were not republished prior to download. To avoid all these issues, we highly recommend performing project publish right before downloading the projects. It is not necessary to do this publish manually. FluentBooks has a specific wizard called Publish Projects. This wizard helps to perform bulk publish using Project Professional. Basically, FluentBooks will launch Project Professional and will initiate publish of selected of projects one by one. They will be opened in Project Professional, published, and closed. So after all projects are published, the next step is to download PWA configuration. This configuration includes things like resources, custom fields, lookups, EPTs. All this data will be saved into a FluentBooks workspace and will be stored locally on the machine where FluentBooks is installed. The next step is to download projects and project plan templates. Each of them will be saved into a separate FPP package. This package contains MPP file with a schedule and additional project data that is downloaded for the project, like custom field values of project and task level and resource data. All these files will be stored together with the MPP file. And also, the last step in the source PWA is to download SharePoint content if you have sites that need to be migrated. This includes root PWA site, project sites, and any non-project site that you have in your PWA. For example, team sites or team sites or other kinds of sites. SharePoint sites will also be saved into FluentBooks workspaces and stored locally on your machine. After activities in the source PWA are completed, the next step is to proceed with the activities in the target PWA. The first one and the very important one is to perform user account mapping. It is mandatory for migration scenarios like from on-premises to online project server or between different project online tenants. This mapping will also be used for resources and SharePoint upload, and in some cases it will be used for project upload. So what user account mapping is? Your resources, if they are associated with user logon account, they have ability to log on into your PWA. When you have on-premises PWA, your login account format is like domain/username. If you're migrating to Project Online, your user login account will be in the format of Office 365 accounts. They look like email, username @domain.com. During resources upload, user login accounts are not automatically changed. FluentBooks needs to know what old account needs to be changed to which new account. Otherwise, FluentBooks will try to enforce the old login account and the upload will fail, and the resource will be uploaded without a user login account. It will be uploaded as a pure user, as a pure resource. During upload of the SharePoint content, if the account mapping is not provided and the user with the source login account is not found in the PWA, either migration account will be used for things like created by, modified by, or the field will be left empty, for example, assigned to field. Also, if your naming convention changed for the resources, for example, if in the source tenant your resource display names were in the format of Jane Doe, and in the target one they became Doe semicolon Jane, in this case, resource mapping should also be used for project upload to ensure that correct assignments are set for correct tasks. After account mapping is completed, the next step is to upload SharePoint content for the root PWA site, excluding the groups. During this step, user account mapping should be applied because if you have some list and libraries in your root PWA site, you would want to migrate things like created by, modified by, assigned to data, and without the account mapping, this will not be completed. The next step is to migrate solutions, or they are also called site templates. Quite often, if you're migrating from the old on-premises version of Project Server to Project Online, you may see that your site templates are not supported in Project Online. In this case, you will not be able to migrate your site template as a WSP file, and you will need to use a workaround and to migrate this site template using FluentBooks. What you would need to do is to create a blank site from the site template in your source PWA, download this site using FluentBooks, then upload this site into the target PWA and save it as a template, providing the correct name to this template. After these two steps are done, the next step is to upload PWA configuration, and this also includes resources. During resources upload, you will need to apply user account mapping that you created before starting all the uploads. After the PWA configuration and resources are uploaded, the next step is to upload project plan templates. If the resource display naming convention changed, then you would need to apply the mapping file during this upload as well. If project plan templates are uploaded into the PWA before the resources are uploaded, then all the resources that are stored in the project plan template, they will become local. And after resources are uploaded into the PWA, project plan templates will become broken and projects will not be created from them. So the sequence of the steps should be preserved here. Resources should be uploaded into PWA first, and only then project plan templates can be uploaded. The next step is to re-upload EPTs, enterprise project types. in order to set templates, correct templates in the enterprise project types in the target PWA, and also create a project and a site from each enterprise project type, and to test that there are no errors during creation either a project or a site. Once this testing is done, for each EPT, site creation setting should be set to allow user to choose for correct projects and project sites upload. So the site should not be automatically created during project's upload. During project's upload, each project will be published. So if you set the site creation setting to create a site during next publish, a blank site will be created, and this is not the outcome that you want. If you set this site creation setting to do not create a site, project sites will be created incorrectly. You're using incorrect methods. So the correct setting for each EPT during projects and sites upload is allow users to choose. In this case, blank site will not be created during project upload, but when project site is created by FluentBooks, it will be created correctly and it will be connected to the correct projects. So the next step is to verify PWA configuration migration results. FluentBooks can assist with this verification. There is a wizard called Compare Workspace with PWA. Also, there is a wizard called Compare PWA with PWA. These wizards, they load configuration and build a comparison report in the Excel file. This report will show if there are any differences or inconsistencies between the downloaded set of data and the data in the target PWA. And it is important to address all the issues with the PWA configuration, if there are any, before moving to the next step, because otherwise it will be like a snowball. Issues will continue growing, and it will be more difficult to resolve them at the later stage than now. Perhaps at this stage, some of the things would need to be deleted and remigrated completely. And for example, if these are issues with the resources, if these issues are not resolved and projects are already uploaded, it will be more difficult to resolve resources issues at that stage, because in that case, projects and resources will need to be deleted. And this is this is your effort and time that you spend on the migration. So if there are no issues with the PWA configuration, the next step is to upload projects from FPP files into the target PWA. We recommend to perform this upload in batches for more control, especially if you have a large number of projects. Also, if you have a large number of projects and if you would like to parallel the activities, like to upload in several threads, this is possible, but for such upload, you would need to have several migration machines and several migration accounts. For projects on each machine, one upload thread will be running, because during project upload, FluentBooks interacts with Project Professional, and only one instance of Project Professional can be running on a single machine. So if, for example, you would like to perform the upload in three threads, you will need to have three machines, FluentBooks and Project Professional in each machine, and three different migration accounts to be used on each machine, because if all the uploads are done using a single account, this project online, it is possible that you will get a throttling error. In the log file, it will look like 429 error. In this case, like this means that there are too many requests to the server, and server freezes and stops processing those requests for like several minutes. To avoid this, you would want to use different user accounts for multi-thread upload. After projects are uploaded, the next step is to verify project plans migration results. there is a wizard called Compare Project Plans. This wizard also builds a comparison report in the Excel file, which shows the differences and discrepancies for the projects on the project level, on the task level, and on the project team level, if there are any. Same as with configuration, we recommend addressing any issues with projects before moving to the next step. And the next step is to upload project sites and other kinds of SharePoint sites if you have any. We also recommend to upload in batches for more control and to apply user account mapping for correct migration of person fields like created by, modified by, assigned to, and all other kinds of person fields. Once the project sites are uploaded, the next step is to verify the migration results and compare SharePoint sites wizard. Will also build an Excel a comparison report in the Excel file indicating the differences if there are any. The final step is to re-upload part of PWA configuration that depends on project's availability, its portfolio analysis, and security categories. If they are uploaded before projects are available in the system, you will see, first of all, errors in the upload summary, and second of all, parts of the data will be missing for these entities. So once projects are uploaded, these two entities can be re-uploaded and they will be corrected in the target PWA. This sequence of steps will be performed during the test migration and during production migration. During remigration of modifications, some of the steps will be skipped. For example, if you already have a PWA configuration in your production PWA and there were no modifications introduced to it during production migration, then PWA configuration does not need to be remigrated. Only projects and project sites that received modifications will be remigrated. So the following are some of the common requests that FluentPro support team received from the customers who performed a self-service migration. For example, one of them, data is missing from the target PWA. And there can be several reasons for this issue. Either this data was excluded from migration. Like FluentBooks allows to perform selective migration. If you do not want to migrate some of the resources or some of the projects, you can deselect them from the upload, and in this case, they will be excluded. Another reason is that the upload of data was performed in the incorrect order. For example, the case that I just described, if portfolio analysis were uploaded before all projects were uploaded into the PWA. In this case, when you open a portfolio analysis, you will see that parts of the data is missing. Or, for example, if you upload projects before you upload workflows or before you upload resources. First of all, you will see errors during the upload. Second of all, your projects will not be skipped to a correct stage, and you will have issues with the task assignments. And one more reason for the missing data is that it can be related to the known limitations. For example, if FluentBooks does not migrate approvals, in this case, when you go to the approvals page in target PWA, it will be empty just because it is a known limitation. Or, for example, Enterprise Global that FluentBooks does not migrate, and it needs to be recreated in the target PWA. So when you perform preparation to the migration, we highly recommend you to spend some time and to research what limitation of the limitations of the migration tool there are, and we have them listed on our help site. And if you have questions about any of the limitations, please feel free to contact our support team at support@fluentpro.com. The next common issue that we receive from the customers is that migration of resources fails with the error. User account is not found in the target environment. So when migrating from project server on premises to project online or between PWAs and two different project online tenants, user account mapping is mandatory for resources upload. And if this mapping is not done, or if it is done incorrectly and is not provided to FluentBooks, FluentBooks will try to enforce the source account during resource upload, and of course it will fail because such account does not exist in the target Active Directory. So to avoid this issue, first of all, account mapping should be, first of all, user account should be created on the target TAM level. Account mapping should be created, and this account mapping should be provided to FluentBooks during upload operations. You will also see this error if user account was not created in the target environment, and sometimes you do not want such user to exist in your target PWA, but enterprise resource will be created anyway, and all the resource associated data will be migrated. For example, rates, assignments, and all this data except of the user logon account. The next issue is publish, download, or upload of projects does not progress, for example, overnight, and you see Windows session is inactive in the log file. Windows session is required to be active at all times when publish, download, or upload of projects is running, because during these processes, FluentBooks interacts with Project Professional, and it is only possible when the session is active. So if the session becomes inactive, publish, download, or upload process pauses until the session becomes active again. For example, if you use a virtual machine for migration and you close the RDP session, this will make your Windows session inactive. For PWA configuration and SharePoint sites migration, it is not an issue. The process will continue running, but for projects migration, since there is an interaction with Project Professional, this Windows session is critical. Some values in project schedules are different between source and target PWAs. So issues with project schedules data quality in the source PWA may potentially result in changes in calculated fields like dates, start, finish date, actual finish, percent complete like, and duration like fields for projects and tasks. Because during upload of project schedules to the target PWA, recalculation is enforced. So if the project is calculated incorrectly in the source PWA, and since recalculation is enforced in the during upload to the target PWA, you will see these differences. Another case when you might see differences in project schedules is if users keep modifying projects during the migration in the source PWA. In this case, it will be just a difference between the downloaded set of data and the original project in the source PWA. This is not critical during test migration and initial production migration, but during Delta migration, you would want to freeze your source PWA in order to avoid such modifications. Another issue is download or upload operation takes too long. Since direct operations with the database are not performed during migration with FluentBooks, and the data is downloaded via API from the source PWA and uploaded to the target PWA also via API, the migration speed depends on the data volume number of parallel threads, and performance of the source and target PWAs. So migration is usually not something that can be done overnight, and during test migration, you will find out how long it takes to perform the migration for your specific data in your specific environment. Before you get this empirical knowledge, you can only operate with some general knowledge of average speed of such operation, like when you create a draft project plan. Also, system dates and GUIDs changed for the migration data. During data upload, PWA configuration projects and SharePoint content entities are created in the destination PWA. Therefore, system read-only fields like created, last published, last modified fields are set to the date of migration, and they will not be the same as in the source PWA. If, for example, you use these dates in your reports, you uh, uh, need to understand this limitation in terms of your migration. As for GUIDs, for some of the entities like resources, projects, custom fields, lookups, FluentBooks is able to preserve the GUID when creating these entities in the target PWA. For other entities like tasks, assignments, PDPs, views, all SharePoint related GUIDs, they will be changed during the upload. And again, if, for example, your reports relate on the GUIDs of projects, tasks, and assignments, then certain adjustments will need to be done to these reports, because for projects the GUID will be preserved, but for tasks and assignments it will be changed. And this is unfortunately some kind of limitation that we are not able to overcome, because this is just how the project is created by project professional in the PWA. So FluentPro offers 4 flat price complete migration packages at special prices. It's for 100 projects and sites, 2, 4, and 500 projects and sites. These services will be performed by FluentPro migration team with experience of 100 plus managed migrations. And if you are interested in purchasing such a migration with service package, please contact FluentPro sales team at sales@fluentpro.com. Customers can also purchase FluentPro FluentBooks for migration subscription with premium support package. This is for self-service migration scenarios. With this option, you get a FluentBooks subscription, training on how to use FluentBooks, and support from our team during your migration process. Premium support package is mandatory for self-service migrations. Also, a 1-year subscription for G Suite, which is a configuration management and disaster recovery solution, is included. Timesheets migration feature is not provided for self-service migrations unless timesheets migration is performed by FluentPro as a service. If you would like to get a free migration evaluation, please contact FluentPro team, and this evaluation includes free configuration and data analysis, free sizing and timing estimation, and draft migration project plan. Also, all migrations as a service include a 1-year subscription for FluentBooks for 2 PWAs in your target tenant and G Suite, also for 2 PWAs, and backup for up to 250 projects. Please feel free to reach out to us using contact information that you see on the screen, and we will schedule the next steps. If you have any questions about your migration or the migration process, please also contact us, sales team for general questions, and support team if you have issues with your migration. Recording of this webinar will become available tomorrow, and it will be also uploaded to the YouTube channel. Thank you for your time today, and have a great day. Goodbye.